Oh man, that one stings for the Indiana Pacers. The escape artist Pacers no longer. They finally could not get over the hump in the fourth quarter as they lose to LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers 120 to 119. Tony Eastier on the floor of Gainbridge Fieldhouse about 30 feet in front of me. The scene of the crime for the Pacers, who did not get a body on LeBron James as the buzzer was sounding here in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. They led with a couple seconds to go. Luka Doncic misses a floater with 1 second left, and in comes LeBron flying in from the right wing under the basket, the tip-in layup. It only got to 13 points this game, but the last two, the most critical two, is it got the Pacers their first late defeat like this in a while. They'd been masterful in these tight games late. They beat Minnesota and Dallas and Brooklyn twice and Milwaukee all this month in crazy tight finishes. It looked like they might be pulling off another one, but just barely too short in this one. And a lot they could point to as their reason for defeat. Big picture, I would very easily sit here and tell you the second quarter cost the Pacers this game, and they would tell you that as well. In fact, let me read you some numbers. The first quarter, the Pacers outscored the Lakers 33-28. The third quarter, the Pacers outscored the Lakers 37-27. The fourth quarter, the Pacers outscored the Lakers 27-25. If you're not good at math, that means across those three quarters, the Pacers outscored the Lakers by 17 points. That's 36 minutes of the game. The second quarter was just a disaster for the Pacers. They got outscored 40-22. And those numbers are both reflective of why it was so bad. They were bad on both ends, right? If they had given up 40 but scored 30 and had okay offense, they win this game. If they had only scored 22 but held the Lakers to 30, that's not even that good of a defensive quarter. They'd have won the game. That quarter actually cost them the game, right? That is the stretch of play that they will look back on and say, that is why we lost. Had they been better in that frame, they might have had a chance. Second quarter, Pacers went 7 for 25, 4 for 15 on 2-point shots, right? That is dreadful. They were okay but not good on threes, but they could not finish anything in the paint. Some zany shots, some missed shots they can make, some missed shots they shouldn't even take. It was really rough, and they weren't wild with the turnovers. Only one turnover, like 5 fouls is pretty bad, but they just couldn't make anything. And the problem is, it's not even one of those quarters they can look back on and go, drat, we got good looks, we didn't make them. I often say that about the Pacers. They have a very high effective field goal percentage, sure, because they're good at generating good shots. In that quarter, I did not think that was the case. They were not even generating good shots. The Lakers have size and speed on defense in a way that's given the Pacers trouble for years. They're not huge anymore without Anthony Davis, but Hachimura, LeBron, Jackson Hayes all on the floor for a bunch of the second quarter. So was Dorian Finney-Smith. So was Luka. That's big players, and they could not score. They were really stifled against the zone. They couldn't get going against man. That is what really cost them. And then Austin Reeves just went ham. He had 15 points in just that quarter. Right, that he did a too small celebration and got away with it because he could have. By got away with it, I mean wasn't immediately reacted to by being stopped or scored on. The Pacers couldn't stop him or score him. He was awesome. Luka had 10 that quarter. Those two alone outscored the Pacers. They couldn't stop him. They couldn't score enough to keep up, and it just became a pattern of Lakers score, Pacers have to play against a set defense. They can't score. Lakers play against a cracked defense. They can, and the Pacers just got out of hand. It just got out of hand, and that is where they lost the game, was that quarter. They fought back. They took a lead, so many of you will say, no, that's not where they lost. They took the lead later, but if that quarter was even just decently bad and not terribly bad, they win. However, the final quarter is where a lot of people will naturally go and where the highlight discussion of this game should go. First of all, the quarter starts, and I was very surprised by the group that Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle had on the floor. I generally think, compared to the Pacers fan base, that I understand his rotations and I'm at least higher on what he's trying to do and understand what he's trying to do. I did not understand what he was trying to do to start the fourth quarter. They had 4 bench players on the floor and no stars, right? Usually, not always, usually the Pacers' plan is, if they're going to go 4 bench players, they will put either Tyrese Halliburton or Pascal Siakam as the 5th player. In the third quarter, they never even had 4 bench players at once. So I was surprised to see them start the fourth quarter with, I believe the group was Obi Toppin, Ben Shepherd, Ben Mathurin, TJ McConnell, and Miles Turner. Immediately 6-0 run from the Lakers in 1 minute and 25 seconds. So the Pacers call a timeout. And then they leave that group on the floor, but immediately bring Siakam to the scores table. LeBron gets fouled again. He hits 2 free throws as Siakam checks in. So the Pacers went from down 3 to start the quarter to down 9 by the time they actually had one of their stars in Pascal Siakam back on the floor. And they lost by 1, right? Had that stretch, instead of being 8-0 Lakers, been 4-0 Lakers or even 6-0 Lakers, the Pacers win this game. That was very perplexing to me. Immediately after that sub, the Pacers got going a little bit. Ben Mathurin scores and gets fouled. Then their defense really ticked up, and Ben Mathurin hit a 3, and then Siakam drove to the basket, and then Jarris Walker hit a big 3. Jarris Walker, a very nice fourth quarter. Right, that was all a very huge sequence, but they were coming back instead of leading after that stretch. So that was very confusing to me. The groups that came in after had a lot of size. I think Siakam, Turner, and Walker, and Nesmith, I believe, maybe Mathurin. Regardless, a lot of size on the floor. I don't remember the exact moment of the game that this happened. There was plenty of time on the clock it was at least after the 7:18 mark. So I'll estimate and say 7 minutes to go. It might have been a little after that. Actually, no, it had to be after the 6:54 mark. So 6:35-ish to go. Tyrese Halliburton heads to the scorer's table to come into the game. And the Pacers at the time are just barely down. He's clearly coming in for Jarris Walker. And we know that because Jarris Walker goes to the foul line with 5:32 to go. So Halliburton's been at the table for about a minute by that point. And Halliburton doesn't come in the game because the guy he's coming in for is currently shooting free throws. Then another long stretch of no stoppages. It gets to 4:05 to go in the game, and the Lakers are up by 2. Then the Pacers take a timeout. That's when Halliburton comes in for Jarris Walker, right? So that was 2 minutes that Tyrese Halliburton was also not in the game, and the Pacers played well in that stretch. I'm not killing them for that, but you never know how it would have gone with Halliburton out there. Then they battle back from down 5 with 2:23 to go and down 4 with 1:44 to go to tie the game and then take the lead via a Tyrese Halliburton and one floater with 42 seconds to go. And this is where a lot of fans have had some issues with the Pacers strategy. They go defense subs after the Halliburton free throw. So Aaron Nesmith comes in for Miles Turner. Jarris Walker comes in for Tyrese Halliburton. So they went smaller defense. It was Ben Mathurin, Jarris Walker, Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, and I'm forgetting the fifth player at the time. But they wanted to get rebounds and get stops. And so Halliburton hits the free throw. They get a stop. They stop Dorian Finney-Smith at the rim. Jarris Walker gets the rebound. Great defensive play from Jarris Walker. Stopped 2 rim attacks from the Lakers. One of his best defensive stretches he's ever had. So the Pacers have to bleed out a shot clock, and they have a timeout. And this is where people have killed them. If they call a timeout, they could have gotten an offensive group on the floor and given themselves a chance to extend the lead. I don't know this, but Carlisle did say after the game that he considered a timeout. My guess would be that he felt fine having the defensive group on the floor already, but the points obviously would have been way more valuable. I would have taken a timeout myself, got Halliburton on the floor, maybe even Miles Turner. They did not. They did not score. Ben Mathurin swarmed at the final seconds. And then the Lakers come down. Actually pretty good defense at first from the Pacers. They trap LeBron. They get Luka to take a floater. He misses. LeBron swoops in, as already described. Grabs the offensive rebound, puts in the game winner, and that was it. For the Pacers, Jarris Walker lost LeBron that last play. Had they taken their foul to give, they could have subbed again, but maybe the Lakers could have subbed. It was just a mess of decisions in the fourth quarter, and the Pacers put themselves in that spot with a dreadful second quarter. They lose. They don't get another crazy win in this building. And now they go on the road for 2. Washington tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this, and then OKC right after that. Well, much more on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for watching. See ya after the next one.